My husband has been sick for few days. He got sick around the time of my brother's wedding. I took care of him 24 hours for days. He's on meds and can move and go to the bathroom and eat on his own. I told him I was going to my brother's wedding and he threw a fit saying I couldn't leave him Alan while he's sick. I told him he was not that sick, it's just some stomachache that he's getting treatment for, and suggested he call his sister to come stay with him. He said no and told me to miss it. I got upset and bluntly said no and that he could survive for few hours while I attend the wedding. He sulked, and as I was leaving, he said he hoped I won't ever come back. It hurt my feelings, but I know he was just mad and didn't mean it. At the wedding, I got a text from him saying he lost balance and fell off the stairs and hurt his back. He said he was in a lot of pain, he threw up and couldn't move, and insisted I get home ASAP. I freaked out and started calling his phone, but he didn't answer. I thought he must have passed out, and I freaked out even more. I got in my car and drove back to our house immediately. When I got home, I rushed towards the stairs while calling out his name, but he wasn't there. I started to really freak out. I rushed into the bedroom and found him in bed drinking juice, and soon as he saw me he put the phone down. I instantly knew he lied, so I lost it on him and started yelling, saying he freaked me out and caused me to miss my brother's wedding for nothing, absolutely nothing. He said that he already told me I couldn't leave him alone in the house and that this very scenario could have happened if I stayed there any longer. I yelled at him, calling him horrible, which made him cry. He started crying and throwing his juice all over the place. I had to step out and call his sister thinking she'd come help, but she came and started cussing me out, saying I had a lot of nerve expecting her to back me up after I so carelessly left her brother alone AF the house in that state just to attend a party. We got into an argument and I went to stag with my family. My brother understood WHRN. I explained the situation to him. My husband and I haven't seen each other since then, but his sister kept saying I had no right to scream at her brother and cause him a panic attack, and said that he at least was clear with me from the start, but I chose to be dismissive. Was what I did dismissive? Yesterday I had a flight for my work. In the seats in front of me was a couple that skeeved me out along with everyone around us. I knew something was up, so about 20 minutes after takeoff I started filming them through the seats since I knew something was going to be up. Sure enough, 10 minutes later she got up and went in the bathroom, then a minute or so later he got up. I was able to film him going into the bathroom. A few minutes later I filmed her coming out and then ducked my phone down as she walked by and then put it back up just in time to catch him coming out of the bathroom. I kept filming them in their seats, but they both fell asleep, so I stopped. I went to a flight attendant and told her about my video, and she said unless there was an immediate threat there was nothing she could do. I tried to talk to the head flight attendant and he said the same thing and asked that I not film. Since they refused to do anything about it, I waited and told the gate agent when we landed. He refused to do anything and suggested I delete the video. I asked to see his manager and he actually said I'm actually the station manager. To get higher, call this 800 number. I went home and told my family what I had seen and they said the video is pointless and I should have minded my own business. I have posted the video to Clock Talk and I must be shadow banned since it's getting no views or likes. My older sister said this was a pathetic attempt to get clout by a loser by violating people's privacy. Was I the asshole? I live with my parents. I've been paying rent since I was 16, since my parents would be financially fucked if I wasn't helping out. A few my parents told me they are seeing someone and that their relationship is open. I didn't give a shit since it wasn't affecting me until this guy they are seeing started staying nights. He treat this place like it's his, tries to tell me what to do and eats all our food. I tried talking to my parents about it, but they just said it's their house so they can have who they want here. I really tried to put up with it until this guy tried to discipline my dog. I flipped my shit. It was most certainly not the way you discipline a dog, and I'm already sick of his shit. I yelled the house down, calling him all sorts, like dumb, piece of shit, freeloader, and some more vile shit that's probably way too fucked up to say here. My parents rushed to see what's going on and tell me off, but instead I told them off, calling them terrible parents, that they can shove their house up their ass, and that I'm not going to pay rent to live in a house I have no say in. That, dumb, can cover my rent. I've since been staying with my boyfriend. My parents recently texted me asking for my rent. I told them to fuck off and reminded them of what I said. I feel like I'm not wrong to not pay rent anymore, but I went so overboard with my words. I have always tried my best to welcome the kid into my mom's house. I cook and clean after him daily. However, most days he says some disgusting things to me that I am not happy with, but I have to endure because his father, 60M, has shouted at me before for trying to tell him off. Today, my stepbrother decided to do what he could to annoy me. Usually it's just, "Why haven't you cleaned the bathroom yet, bitch?" or, "Maybe if you weren't such a slag people would like you." But today I forgot to put his pizza in the oven because I was busy with my college work, and he came upstairs and said, "If you're not gonna do your job as a woman and cook me dinner, I'm turning off the power." I reminded him that he has no control over me as he is only just 13 and he cannot tell me what to do. As I was saving my college work, he turned off the power. I ran downstairs and told him he was wrong. He next told me that he hopes my father dies or I never get to see him again. He knows I get sensitive about my dad as I don't see him enough anyway, and what he said really hurt me. I asked him why he would say such a thing, and he responded with, "He deserves it for being the reason you're here." I still do not understand why he goes to extremes instantly. I got angry and shouted that he can't say anything because of his drug addict mom that left him. That exact moment my mom and stepdad get home and tell me I was wrong and it's not his fault for having anger issues. I said there's anger issues, then wishing death on my dad. My mom has been shouting at me, calling me an asshole since. So I need to know. My children really wanted pets, and so did my partner. They got a mixed breed puppy from the pound and 2 kittens. As these animals grew, none of the humans in my house did anything to care for them besides play with them and cuddle. I got up at 5:30 a.m. to walk the dog before work. I cleaned the kitty litter boxes out. I took them to the vet. I had to serve all their food, cleaned up their eating areas afterward. People would just forget otherwise. Naturally, I also had to clean up after them when I'd arrive home. Inevitably, no one had bothered and there were messes all over the floor. If I made my partner or kids do it, they'd half-ass it to the point at where they may as well be not bothered. Same way with plants. Partner wanted house plants to start indoor herb/vegetable garden. Had fun with it first week, then totally ignored. Dead leaves, spilt soil, bugs, etc. now proliferate in the garden area. If I don't water groom the plants, it doesn't get done. I am busy. These are not my chosen hobbies. I like animals well enough, but they're a lot of work when they aren't attended to. Destroy the house. I grew up with a family that hoarded pets. Our house was always nasty, smelly, embarrassing. I swore when I had my own place it would be different. The cats pee/spray everywhere. If I can't get to the litter box in time, the dog chews up stuff, leaves big messes on the floor if I don't walk it. I'm the only one who'll walk him when it gets cold. We have a fenced-in backyard. I bought a dog house, announced he'll live outside from now on, till they can prove they can take care of him better. Same with the cats. They're now outdoor kitties, till my humans can show me they're ready for indoor ones. Of course, if the weather is extreme I'll let them in. Plants are all going out. I'm done. My mom came over recently to meet our 6-month-old son. My wife asked my mom to help her out by putting our son's laundry in. Now we come from very different families, and I know she offended my mom. In my mom's world you don't ever ask a guest to do something like that. In my wife's family they are very close, a bit suffocating at times to be honest, and everyone pitches in. For example, if we stay with my wife's family we are given chores. If we stay with my mom we are waited on like guests. I could tell from my mom's face she was furious, but she said okay. her boyfriend went in the laundry room with her and was like, "What the fuck, why would she ask you to do that, why are you doing it?" My mom said she just doesn't want to fight with me anymore. Her boyfriend was like, "Okay, but to be clear, if my mom came over would you ever ask her to do work?" My mom said, "No, I'm not trashy." I saw red and immediately stepped into the room. I said, "How dare she call my wife names in our own home?" My mom tossed the things at me and said, "Good, I can wash them as it isn't her house and she did not choose to bring our son into the world." I said she crossed a line by calling my wife names in our own home. I told her to get the fuck out and she isn't half the woman my wife is. My mom told me we are both trashy and she is done with us. My grandparents were furious when they heard and chewed me out for being entitled. I have two older brothers, James and Ian. They're my half-siblings from our mom's first marriage. Mom divorced their dad when they were younger and some years down the line she met my dad and they had me. Unfortunately my mom died when I was 4, but my dad made sure that I still got to see my older brothers. Their dad didn't want to make that much of an effort to keep them in my life. I think he resented our mom for divorcing him, but their grandmother Claire loved my mom and continued talking to her even after the divorce. It was because of Claire that I was still able to have a relationship with my brothers. She would invite my dad and I over to her house when the boys were there so that we could spend time together, or at the very least she'd make their dad be civil and keep in touch with us. Sometimes she would just volunteer to watch me all on her own. I used to spend entire summers at her house when I was little. My dad wasn't close with his own family, and my mom's family always seemed a little distant with me. So it was nice to have Claire. She treated me just like she treated my brothers, even though we weren't related. She was really the only maternal figure I ever knew, and I loved her like family. Claire died a few months ago. She had been ill for a while so we were expecting it, but it still sucked. She had very strict rules about how she wanted things to be carried out after she was gone, but she never talked about those rules or plans with me. I didn't expect to be in her will, but I was. She left some family jewelry, some sentimental items, and a decent sum of money to me. Some money was left to James, and her house and a few other things were left to Ian. She didn't leave much for their dad, he was her only child. My brother James told me the other day that his dad isn't happy that their grandma left so much to me. James said that personally, he doesn't feel it's right for me to accept any of the inheritance I received from her either, because I wasn't really her granddaughter. Ian knows about what James said, and he knows how their dad feels, and he's mad at both of them for it. He said that Claire chose me to have those things, and that she loved me like I was her grandchild, so other people's opinions don't matter. He also said she had her reasons for giving me those things. I decided to accept what she left me, and now James is pissed. So is their dad. Ian did tell me not to worry about them, but I feel bad though. Am I the scoundrel here for accepting the inheritance even though I'm not really Claire's granddaughter?